Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up immediately because the noise coming out of H-Town right now is absolutely deafening. We are talking about a franchise at a critical inflection point. You think the offseason is quiet? Think again. The Houston Texans are making moves that will define the next decade of football in Texas. But right now, the front office is fighting a war on multiple fronts. We have wild trade rumors, massive infrastructure projects, and roster decisions that could gut the offense. GM Nick Caserio is drawing a line in the sand, but is the foundation cracking before it is even fully built?
We begin with a story that frankly should never have been a story, but here we are, dealing with the absolute madness of the NFL news cycle. On Tuesday, at the NFL Combine, Houston Texans general manager Nick Caserio walked up to the podium and had to address one of the most ridiculous, nonsensical rumors I have ever heard in my entire life. People have actually been speculating that the Texans might trade C.J. Stroud. Yes, you heard me correctly, trading the Offensive Rookie of the Year, trading the man who single-handedly saved this franchise from irrelevance. Nick Caserio did not mince words. He looked the media dead in the eye and called these rumors idiotic. He stated categorically, quote, "We are not trading the guy. He is our quarterback." Thank you, Nick. Finally, some common sense in a room full of noise. Listen to me closely. The mere idea that Houston would even entertain a phone call regarding C.J. Stroud is borderline blasphemy. This young man walked into a dumpster fire and turned it into a playoff team in year one. He is the face, the heart, and the soul of H-Town football. Caserio knows it. D'Amico Ryans knows it. The entire city of Houston knows it. So why are we even talking about this? Because people love drama. But let me tell you, Caserio shutting this down was the only move. You do not trade a generational talent. You build around him. You protect him. You make him the king of the castle. This is not a debate. This is a coronation. Caserio made it clear that his job is to support Stroud, not shop him. That is the kind of leadership you need. But when you lock in a franchise cornerstone like that, the expectations skyrocket. You are telling the world that you are ready to contend for a Super Bowl right now. And to do that, you need more than just a quarterback. You need an environment that breeds champions. You need facilities that scream excellence. And that leads us directly to a massive development that proves the Texans are not just trying to win games, they are trying to take over the entire state of Texas.
Listen, if you want the real truth behind the headlines and the inside scoop on the Houston Texans that the mainstream media is afraid to touch, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. Do not miss a single update. On Wednesday, the Houston Texans officially unveiled their grand vision for the future. And let me tell you, it is absolutely spectacular. The team announced plans for the Toro District, a massive 83-acre complex located in Cypress, Texas. This is not just a renovation, this is a revolution. Developed in partnership with Howard Hughes Holdings, this project will house the team's new corporate headquarters and a state-of-the-art training facility. We are talking about a world-class environment designed to maximize player performance. The project is set to break ground soon, with a grand opening scheduled for 2029. Now, why does this matter? Because for years, we heard about the dysfunction in Houston. We heard about the lack of direction. This Toro District sends a message to the rest of the NFL that the McNair family is putting their money where their mouth is. They are building a sanctuary for football excellence. When you are trying to recruit top-tier free agents, when you are trying to convince veterans to come to H-Town, you show them this. You show them that you are committed to being a first-class organization. It is about culture. It is about pride. It is about setting a standard that says we are winners. However, while 2029 sounds fantastic, we have to deal with the reality of the roster right now. You can have the best building in the world, but if you do not manage your assets correctly, it's just an expensive museum. While the future home of the Texans is being secured, the current roster is in flux. With Stroud firmly entrenched as the starter and the face of this new era, the front office is looking at the rest of the quarterback room and realizing they might have a valuable trade chip that needs to be moved immediately. The luxury of depth is nice, but in the NFL, you cannot hoard assets when you have holes to fill elsewhere. This brings us to a developing situation involving a quarterback who was once the starter, but is now looking for a ticket out of town. This is where the business of football gets cold and calculated. With C.J. Stroud confirmed as the undisputed king of the franchise, reports surfaced this Wednesday that the Texans are actively fielding calls for backup quarterback Davis Mills. The New York Jets have emerged as a prime destination. Mills is entering the final year of his contract, and let's be real, he is too talented to hold a clipboard forever. For the Texans, this is a strategic goldmine. You have a backup who has starting experience, and you have desperate teams like the Jets who are scrambling for stability. Nick Caserio knows he has leverage here. He can flip Mills for draft capital to surround Stroud with more weapons. It is the smart play. You do not let a guy like Mills walk for free next year. You get value for him now. It is asset management 101. But here's the danger. If you trade Mills, you are betting everything on Stroud's health. We saw what happened to teams last year when their QB1 went down. It is a high-risk, high-reward maneuver. But frankly, the Texans have bigger fish to fry than the backup quarterback spot. They need to clear space, they need to acquire picks, and they need to make tough decisions about the starting lineup. Mills is a luxury they might not be able to afford keeping if they want to upgrade the defense or the offensive line. This potential trade signals that Caserio is in aggressive mode. He is not sitting back. He is looking to maximize every single roster spot. But while trading Mills brings in assets, there is a much darker cloud hanging over the offense. We are talking about a key veteran, a guy who carried the rock, whose future is suddenly in serious jeopardy. The offense relies on balance, but that balance is threatened by a medical report that just landed on the GM's desk.
We have arrived at the most concerning story of the day, and it involves the ground game. Breaking reports confirm that running back Joe Mixon has undergone surgery on his foot and ankle this offseason. But that is not even the scary part. The scary part is what GM Nick Caserio said about it. He described Mixon's situation as a moving target. Let me translate that for you. That is general manager code for "we are worried." There are rumblings that Mixon could be a cap casualty if he fails his physicals. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Joe Mixon was a force. He brought toughness to this offense. Now you are telling me he is under the knife and his roster spot is not guaranteed? This changes everything. If Mixon is cut to save salary cap space, who runs the ball? You just traded your backup QB in our hypothetical scenario, and now your lead back is a question mark? This puts immense pressure on CJ Stroud to do it all. Caserio is playing a dangerous game here. The moving target comment suggests the team is already looking at contingency plans. This isn't just a minor injury. This is a potential roster shakeup that could strip the offense of its most physical weapon. If Mixon is gone, the identity of this team changes overnight. The front office has to decide right now. Do you trust the medicals, or do you cut bait and run? The clock is ticking. You cannot go into the season with uncertainty at the running back position. This is the harsh reality of the NFL. One day you are the star, the next day you are a moving target. The Texans need clarity, and they need it fast. Because if they mismanage this situation, the entire offense could become one-dimensional.
So look at the landscape. We have the franchise quarterback locked down despite the noise. We have a billion-dollar vision for the future facilities. We have a backup quarterback potentially on the move to New York. And we have a star running back whose future is hanging by a surgical thread. This is Nick Caserio's defining offseason. He has to navigate the cap, manage the injuries, and keep this championship window wide open. I need to know what you think. Is cutting Joe Mixon a mistake, or is it just business? Drop your comments below, stay loud, and represent H-Town. We are just getting started.